Hi everybody, it's Joseph Hawes from Planetgg, and my podcast today is a short podcast, but it's about thinking about myself and everybody around me who need that little motivation at this time of the year or any time of the year where things can be quite tough and you need almost that voice to tell you, stop, look around, and let's start again. Because when life gives you 100 reasons to break down and cry, show life that you have 1,000,000 reasons to smile life. Smile, laugh, and stay strong. Because if we have one positive action combined with positive thinking, that in itself results in success. And that's why my podcast is almost a quote of when somebody says about how hard life is compared to, you've got to think to yourself that our life, what we're going through, should always be in our control. I'm not saying that we can control ourselves being waking up in the morning and being financially secure and things like that. That obviously, circumstances, hard work, all sorts of things helps you to get there. But what we do too much of, I think, in our lives is compare. We're individuals and we are our own selves. We're not a copycat of anything on this planet other than ourselves. We need to never be afraid to fail. And this particular word means so much to me right now. But you need never be afraid to fail. Be afraid to not try. Failure does not mean that you are not who you need to be. Try again. And look at why you failed. And almost see that feedback as a gift to go back and succeed. But go in there hard and get an even better result. Life has no remote, so we have to get up and change it ourselves. And I'm hoping that we realise that every day is a fresh start for us. Every day is a new day. And that every sunrise is a new chapter in our lives, waiting to be written. It's not the extension of yesterday. That's how we are living, and that's why that rock is so heavy. If we're brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward us with a new hello. And that's a little quote that I can't remember where I got that from. It was years ago. And it was about how I was almost carrying this self-doubt, this I'm not sure. And this great person said if I was able to just say goodbye to that, life would reward me with a new hello. And it did. It was amazing to look at things differently. Be optimistic. So instead of self-doubt, I replaced it with self-positivity, motivating myself by if I haven't succeeded in something, looking at why I haven't succeeded, looking at what I need to do in case I wanted to go for that again. Jobs I might have interviewed for and not succeeded. I no longer take that as a negative. I always ask for feedback. And the feedback never leaves me flat. I read it. I identify with some of the points. And it helps me for the next time I see an opportunity. I'll use that gift of that feedback to make sure that I do better. And I call it a gift because without that gift of feedback, you don't know how you've done and you don't know how you're doing. We need to embrace every opportunity that comes our way. And if you feel nothing's coming my way, then go seek it out. Seek out what's around that corner. Don't sit there and wait for it to come to you. Opportunities are something that helps us in life. Yes, it is. But sometimes you have to put the groundwork in. We are exhausted sometimes, thinking year in, year out, month in, month out, week in, week out. At the end of every one, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. But what have I achieved? That is something we should never say. We have got to the end of that week. Now it's up to us to find quality in our lives. It will be our choice if we work to make it all about our jobs. I'm sure all of us have heard that saying, that if tomorrow we went out and got run over, your workplace would replace you. So you cannot make your life 100% about your workplace. You need to think about yourself, your health, your emotions, your energy, your space. When do you stop? You need to remember that. Because as much as we might think to ourselves, that job gives me my security, you need to look after yourself to be in that job. That job is not your life. You are more important than that role. And you as a person are more important to so many people around you that if you consume that role and it makes you ill, you then don't feel the benefits of the love and support that you have around you. Your inner love and support is gone due to you not looking after yourself, not loving yourself first, making yourself not even second, third or fourth priority. Everything else is in front of how important you are to yourself. Therefore, when that burnout comes, boy, it's a big one. So nothing at all is more important than you making sure that you are okay to think about what you want to do, to think about how you want to alleviate some of the problems that you have by just taking a moment and stopping, taking yourself off to a room, a space, a park, a walk, giving you personal space to think about what next. Because all those other things that I spoke about, if you don't give yourself that amount of time to think, you will not give yourself the ability to move up, aside, around. Any change that you're looking for will not happen because you will feel stuck. I leave this podcast with saying something that I tell a lot of people that I have different conversations with, but on the whole, it's all about how do I change this? How do I drive forward? How do I? And my answer is always, the answer is within. You know the answer, you will find the answer, because it is always within. Now, I know people will say, oh, but it's okay for you to say that. But how do I find it within? Stop. Think. Get that space. Close your eyes and think about what good looks like. Think about those moments when you were in control and how that felt and how you are going to reach for that place again. Think about all the things that you want to change, and trust me, we won't be able to do them all at once. But think about one thing that you can do immediately, one thing that you can do straight away. Close your eyes and think about what that would look like. And then do it. And then think about how that feels. And then go ahead and do some more. Take care of yourself. Thanks for listening.